Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to our webinar. We are starting just now, and I'd like to announce that I will do the webinar instead of my partner, Eric, because he had a fire in his area. He lives in Utah, and they were evacuating, so he had to go. But you're in good hands here with me. If you have questions, please type it into the chat box and I will answer those. Today, we will talk about the functionality in RealBird and overview of RealBird features. We had lots of webinars in the past. We did God knows how many. For a while we were doing every week, and now we're doing them bi-weekly. These webinars are recorded, and I will put in the chat box here the URL where you can subscribe. That's our webinar channel. I'll put them in here too. So here, the webinars appear more or less in the afternoon, the day where the day when we do them. And there's several interesting ones. This is our new webinar channel, and you can subscribe here. There's guest speakers and various topics, and they're annotated. So if you subscribe, then you get immediately the notice that a webinar has appeared. All right, so let's go here to the features, and let's start our little webinar here. I don't know how long it's going to go, but probably more than half an hour. We have lots of features. These are the features that are in RealBird, and what's the purpose of this whole tool? RealBird is a tool to let you prospect for buyers and sellers online and to promote your brand. Now, think about it. If you have enough referrals, you don't need RealBird, right? Because then you have enough business. Well, most people don't. Then the question is, how does somebody find you who is in your area and decided today to buy or sell a house? And how do you know what they're looking for? Well, that's a tough problem. Why? Because let's say that I'm in your area and I decide today to buy or sell a house, and you're an agent there. What has to happen for you to get me as a client? Well, number one, I have to find you. And number two, once I find you, I have to tell you who I am. So let's just quickly deconstruct these two. The finding part. Why is that difficult today? Well, it's difficult because what do I do if I when I decided to buy or sell a house? I sit down in front of my computer and I go and I start educating myself about how to buy or sell. And in this process, I can go to so many places. I can go to Zillow, Trulia, Craigslist, Facebook, Active Rain, do a Google search, Bing search, YouTube, etc. Unless you, the agent, has something about you or from you in those places, I will not know that you exist. So the first rule of marketing is when you spend money on marketing and time, you should do it in such a way that you increase your footprint online, right? Because if you don't, then people are gonna not the only place where they're going to find you is on your agent website, and who knows where that is down the stack. Now, it's not enough though for somebody to find you. They have to tell you who they are. So what's the hurdle there? Well, the hurdle there is the fact that why would somebody talk to you? Well, they have a short attention span. Everybody, I'm sure you're the same way. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, that's about my attention span for especially for something I don't know. And in that time frame, in that short 3 or 4 minutes, You have to convince somebody who just found you and didn't know anything about you before that they should tell you who they are and what they want to do. A lot of agents make the mistake and they think it's about pictures and it's about Polygon IDX search and that sort of stuff. But in reality, it's about you. You're the product in lead generation, which is very different once you get the lead. Then you go into customer relations management and you send them listings and take them out to see these houses and so on. But what is going to convince somebody to work with you? Well, one is if they see that you know the neighborhood where they're looking to buy or sell. Two, if they see that you have experience with the kind of property that they're looking for to buy or sell. Three, testimonials, and four, charisma. So then any tool that you employ to market yourself should help you extend your footprint online, so you have more and more of these places through which people can find you, number one. And two, convince somebody that you're a better agent to work with than somebody that they found 5 minutes ago. So I'm going to show you. So RealBird is a tool for that, and I'll show you some examples here, and I'll go through the functionality, how to build these. Here is an example that I usually show to all my clients because it exemplifies what I just said. This is a property website, and this is a house that is not far from me. It's about 10 minutes drive from me, in the middle of Silicon Valley. Atherton is a little township, and it has been sold a long time ago. The agent is Rona. It's a sold house. Now, why would somebody call me if they find this, let's say through Google, or Rona emails it to them, or their friend or whatever? Well, if it's a sold house, it's probably unlikely that somebody's going to call me because the house is sold. Why would they call, whether they buy or sell? But if they come here and they click over here to in the neighborhood section, which is a tab here on the left-hand side, Rona has put together this her own description of this little township called Atherton. She wrote about the history, and she wrote about what's to do there and so on. So why is this important? This is important because if I'm really looking to buy or sell in Atherton, then I'd rather work with an agent who knows the neighborhood. And so this listing is of no interest to me because it's sold, but I learned about Rona without going to her website. Now think about it. If Rona has sold, let's say, 20 listings over the past year or past 2 years, then she has 20 of such websites floating around, indexed by Google, and she can use them to post them here, post them there. So these are this extended footprint, just simply these listings and the widgets of these listings, of which I will show you a few. And so if I find one of these sold listings, the likelihood that I'm going to call her, if I'm really a serious client for an agent to buy a house in Atherton, the likelihood is going to be higher. Now, there's a second reason why this neighborhood content here, which is, again, it's original and authentic, she wrote it, is the second reason why this is important, and that is for the search engines. As you probably know, search engines are ranking websites based on originality and relevance of content. And if you want to learn about this, because there's a lot of talk about SEO, then just simply open a browser and just type in website ranking factors, and you can learn all about that. The best place to read about these things is on Google's own website. So if you go to Google, you're going to find here pretty much their own tutorials, and you can read up on that. But by creating this original content, Google is going to pay more attention to this listing than to listings that don't have such content, right? Now, think about it. If you let the MLS syndicate your listings to all these different places, and the MLS sends the same information to every one of your competitors, some places there are 10,000 agents, right? And the search engines are going to shrug if there is no original content in there, because they're going to see the same information everywhere, right? And sure, you're going to sell a listing, but after that, you have nothing in order to extend your footprint online. But if the search engines see this content, and especially if you put in keywords which you can research, and that's a separate topic, and we have some recorded webinars about that. But if the search engines find original content that's relevant to real estate and to Atherton, then these listings are going to rank much higher. Right? Another tab that I should show you here is about the agent. This is about Rona. Now, of course, every listing in RealBird has a link over to her website. So I could just go and click here on homesbyrona.com and learn about her. But who knows if people are going to do that? Once they land on this listing, it's important for you to make it easy for them to learn about you. And again, now, if you put some content in here that is relevant to what these people are looking for, buying, selling, and so on, price reductions, what you specialize in, they will learn about it, and that's going to be enough for them to maybe pick up the phone or send you an email or what have you. Now, this here exactly is not the best that I would suggest to do. It's a minimal. You should add your testimonials in there, and you should add a little video about yourself, which you can all do, and I'll show you how. But it shows the concept that in each listing, you can add original content in the neighborhood section, in extra pages that you add something about you. And I'll show you how to do these so that it's not really a lot of work. Of course, writing content is work, but there is no other industry like real estate where it's worth it that much, because a good real estate lead, you get a lot of money for it if you sell, right? So it's worth spending a few hours writing this content. All right, so let me log in into my RealBird account, and I'll go over the functionality. And just referring back here, so let me just log in here first. All right, this is probably familiar to you. This is the dashboard. We have some new users here, so I'll just go over the basics. When you log in, you land in your dashboard, and then here are the various sections that you can use to create listings. In listing marketing, we give you a free property search that covers the US. It's not that useful anymore these days, simply because everybody has IDX, and you should really use your IDX. But in some cases, this is useful. We're talking about lead generation, so IDX doesn't really mean very much in lead generation, because the buyers don't care about that, and the sellers, then they, in order to find your property search, they have to find something about you. So anyways, but it's still there. You can set up texting. Texting is really important these days, because texting, everybody texts these days, and you always get a lead with texting, and you're out of the box, and you can impress buyers and sellers. And then there's the leads are in here, and we give you a mobile site. Now, in the dashboard here, you have various links. These are mostly short links to various functionalities. When you create a listing, I'll point out a few of these. When you create a listing, then we have some flyers here for you that you can use for marketing. And for example, if you want to tell somebody or to show somebody where the listings are syndicated to, because automatic syndication is part of our service, then you click on over here on that link, and you get the branded version of this. It's right here with your picture and everything. And then here is the list. Let me go back here. You can upload your profile is important. Your profile is here. Let me start with that, simply because the profile brands everything that you have. And so make sure that you have your email, your phone number. If you can put a blog, if you have a blog, you can put the RSS feed in there, and that's going to feed your articles and that you publish on your blog into every listing. So it's a distribution mechanism through your active and sold listings, which is which increases again your footprint. The social network profiles, I only put my Facebook in here, but you can put whatever you have, Google, Zillow, Profile Link, YouTube, whatever you have. So it's important for you to fill this out. Then you can upload here a photo, and it's really easy to do. You just choose a file and then you save it, and same, you can upload a company logo. The lead settings is sometimes important if you have a CRM. In the CRM, for the most or probably all CRMs today, CRM tools take lead input through email, and so there is some tighter integrations, but at the simplest they take email. So if you have a email, for example this one, and you go to your CRM and you say watch this email, and the leads are coming through it, and it's dedicated to your leads, then when you get a lead, it's not just that you get a notification, but you also automatically the lead goes to this email, and then it's entered into your CRM. Or you can use this for sending it to your assistant if you have an assistant who you work with. And the leads go in the lead section here. So if you go to leads, you will see that there's all these leads in there, and you can export them. You can click on them, and you see this is a texting lead. And since we're at it, I will point out that with texting, you always get. I have a package set up for my texting phone number where I get the caller ID, and so I get the phone number of whoever texted, the link that was sent back to them. In this case, I think it's a property search link, and then who they are. Now, in this case, there's no information about the person, but in most cases, you get the information about where they live, how much money they spend, and so on. All right, let me go back here, and the property search is simple. I don't know how many people are interested in it. I'll just quickly go through it. What I have here, an IDX search, but it works the same way with the OODLE-based property search, which everybody gets. This is at extra cost. We have only IDX here in the Bay Area, so the rest is based with OODLE. But my account is hooked up to this. So anyways, so what you do is you can enter a location, either a city or a zip code. I could enter here, let's say Santa Cruz, California, and then set the listing type, or let's say 15 miles from there, generate widgets and links. And then I get here the map, but I don't have to use the map. I can just use let's say a full screen version, which is a list version. And then here I can get this as a separate link. So I click on that little arrow, and I get here the big map, and then I can take this. You can also embed it in your website or in your blog or wherever you want to embed it. So this is the map-based search, and then of course I can get also the full screen version. So I click here, and I can preview that. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because everybody has one of these, and a house under $1 million here. I should go buy that. There's virtually no houses under $1 million. Anyways, so this is the property search. Now let's go back to, oops, oh, here. Let me just close this. You also get the board widgets here with the property search. That's interesting. Usually you don't see that kind of stuff with property searches, but here, let me show it to you. Looks like this. You can customize these to be larger or smaller, but this is a board widget, and it shows the results of that property search. Anyways, let's go on. the main part of our service is this listing marketing, right? And with listing marketing, you create listings like I showed you, this 54 Northgate. Let me show it to you again because some people have joined here. And you have here several, this is just one view of it, right? So this is the default view. And you have an overview. So if I click here, then you have an overview of the house. I'll show you how to do this. You have a map. It shows where the listing is. You have a photo gallery. Put the photo gallery in there. Then the photo gallery is on the bottom, and you get the slideshow, of course. You can add a video on the sidebar, and I'll show you in a minute how you can add this to the front of the listing as well. List the features, local schools, as I said, neighborhood. You can write something about your neighborhood and attach it to the listing. If you have a PDF, or if you have, for example, if this is in a, let's say, golf community, you can have a link here, a tab that talks about that golf community, about yourself, and then showing nearby homes, which is an option. So you can configure these to show as much as you want. But that's the idea. You can customize the background, of course, with a picture or a logo or something like that. All right, so let's go back here. So when you click on listing marketing, then you have these links here, which are shortcuts. You can add a listing. You can add an analytics or a Facebook pixel. This is more advanced. We're not going to talk about that today. There's a global settings. In this global settings area, you can add these extra pages. That extra page 1, 2, 3, 4. You can create the design theme from all your listings, or you add some live chat, so that pops up on the bottom of the listing so people can chat with you. And these extra pages, you can add text or code. This is an iframe. I put a YouTube video in there. And you can add them to all listings or to certain listings, and you can override them, right? That's the global settings. So that saves you time. So you don't have for the comment, like about the agent or the neighborhood, if you work in one neighborhood only, then you can use that global settings area. And there is, of course, tutorials here. So let me click on tutorials and show you where they are. So the tutorials are here, and then you can click here, for example. Here are the listing publisher tutorials, and there's the various tutorials, and there's property search tutorials, and we have case studies and examples in here. So in the case studies and examples, which I recommend you take a look at, because these are people who make a lot of money, agents who make a lot of money, and I bring them in because they make a lot of money and they have interesting business models and they're out of the box. So you can take a look at that. All right, let's go back here. Now, further down here, let's say here are the listings that I've added already. So I'm not an agent, of course, and so these are not real listings, except one here, which is one of my rentals. But here are the listings, and each listing has on the right-hand side, it has two buttons. One is add content, edit details and photos, and the other one is a property site, virtual tour and marketing tools. So with this button here, you can manage the photos, you can edit listing details if you need to change them, set the open house dates. If you want to add a domain name, you can do it from here. You get free subdomain names with us, so you don't have to buy domain names. Domain names are pretty useless, like this 54northgate.com, because nobody searches with a street address. But if your seller insists on it, then of course you can do it. Texting is much more effective. You can customize the design, and you can then publish or delete the listing here. With with this button, the second button, this has functionality to market your listings. Now, as I said, part of our service is automatic syndication, and that means that the listing goes out to that list that I showed you that's in the dashboard, right? But automatic syndication is not as effective as it used to be. Why? Simply because the world is awash in listing today, in listings, and the main sites, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Homes.com, and the other ones that are these big sites, they all take listings from the MLS. As I said, it is you should put your listing on the MLS. I'm not saying that, but because everybody goes to those Zillows and Realtor.coms and so on, the other sites that where we send the listings to, they are important. So it's free and it's included. So you should I mean you should not opt out of it, but they have become over time less effective, right? Now, what's effective today? Well, social media is effective, and and it's all even much cheaper compared, for example, to Zillow. I had an agent who pays every month, I think he said something like $6,000 or $5,000 for a popular zip code, and it's still not exclusive to him. With Facebook, you can get leads for basically anywhere from maybe $2 per lead to maybe 3 or 4, compared with Google. If you were to advertise at Google, simply because the targeting is more dispersed on Google, there a good lead is about $10 or $20. So Facebook is, and I'll show you, how to do that. We have a tutorial. uh, but anyway, so when you go to a listing, this is the marketing area. So again, how did I get there? In the listing marketing section on a blue bar, I go to, each listing has these 2 buttons, and I go to property site, virtual tour, and marketing. And so I click on that, and here are the various um, links that I can use. Now, these are the listing presentation links. So it's organized here by social media and SMS and domain name and lead capture, open house. Sorry for this this is my cell phone. Um, the So if I go, for example, here to the listing presentation, I can click on the single property website, and it opens up in a new tab this listing, right? So this is the single property website. Looks exactly like, more or less like what I've showed you before. But I can also market. I don't have to market with that. If I don't like it, I can go to a branded virtual tour of that listing. So I click on that link, and this is the branded virtual tour. And by the way, if you're paying for virtual tours, you might consider, sorry that it's so slow, it's just that because I'm running this webinar here, it takes up the processor. But if you are by paying for virtual tours, you might just as well consider using ours, because it's, again, for lead generation, this works really well, right? And you don't want an expensive tour, because that just takes time from the people's 3 or 4 minutes that they have for their attention span, right? And so this is branded. That means that it has your information here. So if you post this online someplace, then people they learn who you are, because your email and address is there. But you can also use the unbranded virtual tour, which is exactly the same as the other one, but it's useful for posting to the MLS because it doesn't have any brand information on it, and the MLS, as you know, doesn't let branded tours on there. Most MLSs don't. The branded virtual tour also can be posted on Realtor.com, by the way. They do take that. It costs a fee if you don't have their package, but it's probably worth it. Anyway, so this is just an example. And we have the legacy virtual tours. These are a little bit different. You can use those if you want. They look a little bit different. They are a smaller picture, and they have a slideshow like this. We left it there because a lot of people like this for certain reasons. Anyways, now down here, there are the various ways to share this listing for social media. you can just click on these buttons. Now be aware that when you want to transit from your RealBird account to one of these, let's say Facebook or Twitter, then it'll put you into it's the same, it's not any different than if I would go to my Facebook page and I would post a listing there. But this is just for simplicity, but you have to have a login. You have to log in there. Or for example, if you use something like Buffer, which is a automatic posting tool, then you have to have an account with Buffer, right, to go there. Um, what does it look like? Well, how do you post on Facebook? Well, for example, let's say I want to post my single property website, right? So I go here, and here, this is the link of that property website. So I select this link, and I copy it, and then I go to my Facebook page, and I go to Facebook. Now, this is my personal Facebook page, but I'm sure that you guys have your own. This is Aruba here. A friend of mine is there from Brazil. Anyway, so you go to your, I'm sure everybody's familiar here. So you go here to this area here where it says what's on your mind, and you put this listing in there. And when you put this in, of course, you should also type in a little bit a little bit of some text about it. But what this will do, it will pull in the first picture of the listing, and then you can post it with the text. And also, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to post this listing on there, but you can also boost it up. So that is a very effective way to generate leads. You take a link of your listing, then you post it here, or you can take the squeeze pages. I'll show you where those are. The squeeze pages are simply a gate before the listing so that people have to register, and it's very effective. The disadvantage is that people have to, of course, give you their emails, and some people give you false emails or they mistype or whatever. But it's very effective here to put your listing on Facebook and then boost it up, because then you can target a certain audience. And we have a tutorial how to do that. We can't go into that. We don't have time to go into that today. But anyway, so this is Facebook here. Let me go back here to my member area. We also give you can post this to any of the social media, and it's not limited to the ones that are here, like LinkedIn is effective, Pinterest, and so on. This create a social media listing photo with Pablo. This is just a photo editor, which allows you to do something like this, a branded listing photo. Now, the branded listing photo is also interesting. I don't know if you've used it, but what it does, when you upload a photo to your listing, and I'll show you where this is, we brand each photo for you. So we put here the address, we put your picture, and if you have a logo over there. Now, what you can do with this branded photo, and each one of your listings has this. You can actually choose which one you use, but you can save this image onto your desktop and then use this image to post, for example, to Craigslist. So you go to Craigslist and you want to post your listing. Well, Craigslist doesn't allow links, of course, in the post, and if you put a branded photo, then you have your contact information in there, and it's more effective than without it. I will go back there later because well, actually, maybe I should show it to you now where the branded photos are. Let me go here, listing marketing. It logged me out. So I go to listing marketing, and the branded photos is if you click here for any listing in the add content, and you click on manage photos, you get the list of your photos here, right? And you see here each photo has a download branded photo link. So any of these things, so let's say you want to download this one, you click on download branded photo, and it comes to your desktop in a new browser. It shows the branded photo, even though you uploaded the unbranded one, but we brand it for you with your address. And so then you can save it locally or copy it and do whatever you want to do with it. So each listing has that. All right, let me go back here. Let me go back here to, sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me go back here to the marketing tools. Texting is important. So here, this is where I ended up. So branded listing photos, here you have various codes that you can use to embed your listing into your blog or into your Facebook page, right? So, or a WordPress plugin. A plugin is, if you have a WordPress site, you can have a plugin that actually, if you put it in there, then it's really easy. Then you just have to type in something and it actually adds a widget of your listing into your blog post about that listing. And then you can post to Craigslist, Active Rain. There's what's called Ning networks, or you can print actually a flyer for that listing out, which is a simple flyer, but it's useful because most people don't need printed flyers. But it's on the listing itself as well. If you go here and if you click here on this listing on print flyer, you get the same thing, and that's just linked into your member area. So you can then, this is a PDF and you can then print it out. Okay, so let's go back here. Let me just close this. Okay, so let's say you want to post to Craigslist. You click on this post to Craigslist and you get this editor. Now, Craigslist doesn't allow links in most areas. And so you have to use here on the left-hand side the plain text with SMS call for action. And there is a notice about that here. So read this. So what you do is you click generate code and preview. This is your Craigslist code that you then copy paste into your Craigslist editor. And all you have to do is go to Craigslist, either open it in a new window or you create a new tab and you go there. This code here is just, it will make it look like this. So it's just a little bit formatted with paragraphs and so on so that it looks good. The pictures and everything you will have to upload, unfortunately, separately to Craigslist, because simply that's the way it is with Craigslist. They had so many spam links and this and that, so they changed it, and it's a little bit more complicated than it was. But it's worth doing it because Craigslist still is an important way to generate leads. I know a lot of people don't like Craigslist, but I would do it because simply you're for SEO. You can put something in the comments and so on. Well, I mean, SEO doesn't, it works to some extent, but just to generate leads. Anyways, then here is a seller email tool. The seller email tool is useful because you can type in the name of your, let's say, the seller, or not just the seller, but you can type in anybody's name, and then you customize the message and you link to the property website and you put a subject and you send it to the recipient, and the seller then gets a nicely formatted email. You probably have tried this already if you have a listing, and you ask for their help in marketing to send the listing to their friends and family, or you can send it to your send it also to yourself, and then forward it to a list of emails that you have. Texting is important. Why is it important? Well, it's important again because everybody texts these days. As you're texting, you always get the lead, and it's practically free here. Now, texting, there's a separate section here, SMS. So to set it up, you go to your SMS section, and when it's not set up yet, then there is a there's a link to the tutorial in there. Otherwise, you can go to the tutorials here that I showed you. And in this tutorials section, the setup is under listing publisher tutorials. And then you scroll down a little bit and it says here text message real estate marketing setup instructions. Now, with many other services, texting costs $20, $30 a month. I've seen those. Here, all you pay is $1 a month, not to us, but to this company called Twilio. So here are the instructions. So you set up an account with this company called Twilio. Then you follow these step-by-step instructions here. And once you set this up, you have a phone number that you can paste into your RealBird account, and every listing gets a text code which you can customize, and you can create in this SMS area. You can create any link textified. It doesn't matter what it is. For example, you can hook up a video, or you can hook up somebody's testimonials, or you can create a property search and hook it up with your IDX. For example, this 888, if you want to text 888 from your cell phone to my phone number, which is 650-683-4066, if somebody texts 888, then they get this link, right? Which this link here is a property search, and you get, and I would get then that person's caller ID in my leads section, right? And so you can textify anything you want, but mostly people are using it for their listings. And let me go back there and show you where that is. So I'm back in listing marketing. And under property site, virtual tour, and marketing tools. So let's go here. And here's the SMS section for that listing. I can, let's say this one has, I created the text code. I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom in a little bit. For sale. But if I want to change it, I can just click here on change SMS keyword, and then I can edit the keyword here. Instead of for sale, I can put in anything and save, and then order a panel and put it in front of the house, or send out postcards to people with text for sale to see this listing, and they would text to that phone number. That is a very efficient way of doing it. Of course, it's only as efficient like any advertising. Any of this, right? Any of this is not magic. So don't expect here sort of like that you just enter the listing and leads are kind of come streaming in. You have to do a little bit of extra, because as I said, the only automatic part is the syndication, as that's not as effective as it used to be. So you have to put some effort into it, and that's why we have all this, right? And this is the best tool you can get. I don't know of any other tool. I mean, maybe there is listing to leads that allows you to do some of this, but it's also, I think, much more expensive. Anyways, so you can here you can also download listing photos with the SMS call for action. So I showed you those branded photos. If you click on that link, then instead of your phone number, or in addition to your phone number, you get the texting call to action there, and you can create a postcard with this and send it out to see this listing, and you put the address on the back, or you put it in an envelope, or you post it at the grocery store. You can add domain names, and that you do here, where it says get managed listing domain names. And here you have to set up, we resell GoDaddy's domain names, but you have to set up a separate account. So if you have a GoDaddy account, you can either buy it there, or you can just create it. If you don't have one, then set up through us, and then you can buy it like that. You have to mask and forward, and it takes 1 minute to do that. So let's say you buy a domain name like this, you're going to have to in the domain name store, you have to, here are the instructions. You have to go in there and you have to forward it to the link of the listing. You can forward it, of course, to the web link or the virtual tour or any of the widgets. Let's say if instead of a listing, you buy a inventory widget, you can forward it to that link. I'll show you some of those inventory widgets. But you get for free from us these subdomain names. These are free, and it's really simple to do. These are a little bit longer, but they're instantly active and they're free. So we own, of course, RealBird.com, PropertyFlyer.com, and ListingServer.com. And all you have to do is, let's say, I want here to get this, then I'll say, let's say 262, instead of Calle del Sol, I'll just say Calle del Sol Road. And then I click check availability, and it says, okay, it's available, and I see register. And now I have these three links, and so I can take this, and if I click on it, these are domain names, and if I click on that, then whatever that listing comes up, right? So it doesn't cost you a dime. You can get as many as you want of those subdomain names. But if you want a real domain name because your seller expects it, then you can get it here. And again, there's tutorials for all of this. Let me go back here. Here under property site, you also get these lead capture tools. And right now they're fixed. There's a coming soon landing page, a just listed, for sale, depending on what your listing is. Let's say that you have repriced the listing and you want a recently repriced landing page. Well, or an open house. You have an open house on the weekend. I want to post this on Facebook or on Craigslist or on your website, right? What you do is, so this is listing specific, and they're fixed. These are the only available ones. We're coming out soon, I think in a month or so, with a customizable landing page, which actually you can customize all this. And let's say you want one for your property search, or you want one for evaluation, or you want one for to send out cards for evaluation, or you want one that looks differently, and you want to put extra text here or add more fields here. That's going to be available. Right now they're fixed, and so what you do is you take this link and you copy, exactly like posting the link on the Facebook. I'm just showing you Facebook because most people are interested on Facebook, right? And so you go to your Facebook page, and instead of pasting the virtual tour link or the single property website link, which people can access right away, you want to collect their information before they see the listing. So the same way you go here and you type in, for example, new repriced listing. Make sure you do something meaningful when you type these things in, because of course the search engines are watching. Sorry, this is really slow here. Okay, so, and then you put the link in here, and this will pull in again the page, the landing page's picture, and people, and then you post it, and if you want, you can boost it, and it's going to, it just takes a little bit here. I don't have the time to wait for this, but anyways, it pulls in the landing page, and then people have to register. And so that's here. And then we have things like QR codes. I don't know if you use QR codes, but they're available here for every listing. What's interesting, and I see a lot of people are using them on the weekend, is an open house registration page. The open house registration page looks like a landing page. You put it on your laptop, and you put a cardboard sign on top of it. At the open house, please register here if you see me busy with some other clients, and people can then put their email in here, and they'll and their phone number, and then they submit it, and you get an email that they were at the open house. Now, of course, they could pick up a flyer but a lot of people don't pick up, or they throw them away, and you don't know that they picked up a flyer, right? And a lot of people come in and you can only talk to one or two, or even if you have a helper, that helper might be busy and there are 10 other people who just came in and you want them to register. So this open house landing page is free. Just put it on your laptop, full screen, open it, put a sign next to it, and people will hopefully uh, um, register. Now, the last thing I'd like to show you here is how to create a listing like this, so that there's other things here like widgets and let me show you an inventory widget before we proceed, just so you know what those look like. Inventory widgets. Well, I have to get it. Let's see. Okay. Inventory widget coming up. So this is an inventory widget of all your sold listings. You can create one of all your solds or all your actives, and you want to show, for example, what you've sold, right? You don't impress new sellers with what's active, because they're not, they're interested to see what you've done before, and just one active listing is not going to do that. But with the inventory widgets, you can create these nice ones, and I'll show you where you can get that here quickly. Where is it? If you go inventory widgets here under listing marketing, inventory widgets, and you go in there, and when you have listings, I don't have any published listings, again, because I'm not an agent, and if I publish them, then they become public. But here you can create such a listing map, the gallery. You can create a Facebook page, a widget, a slideshow, and you can get an RSS feed, which actually allows you to push your listings into any RSS widget and mold it to whatever you want it to look like. There are RSS apps out there that are free, and they're actually pretty good. All you have to do is just add the RSS feed for your listings. And when you want to create one of these, then you get a form here that that allows you to, well, I don't have any, but allows you to change the size and everything. And so this is where the widgets are. Well, let me quickly show you how to, we're running out of time. Let me show you how to create a listing for those who are new. You go here to listing marketing, and you can here choose add a for sale listing or a for rent listing. If I choose for sale listing, then you get this form, and this form has, you enter the address right here. Make sure you select the right state, the zip code. Then if you have an MLS number already, you can add it here. It's not mandatory. There's no connection here to the MLS. The list price is of course important. Number of baths, it's pretty obvious what these are. The number of units is in case this is a multiplex and it has 3 units or 4 units. Here, if let's say you're marketing someone else's listing with permission, of course, then even though it says listing broker, you can add here the name of that agent, and then when you publish it, then it appears. Then there's a credit added under the listing there that says this belongs to this and this agent. And the listing title is important because, of course, that goes up on top, and try to make it meaningful so that it captures somebody's interest. Then you enter here, there's a field here where you enter the brief up to 600 characters. This is the the main part where the description is. This we send out to the various syndication sites, and it creates the print flyer. That's why it's limited to 600 characters, because it has to fit on a print flyer, and a lot of the syndication sites don't take more. But you put this in here, and then there's these various other sections which are important for you to add, because they increase the SEO, and and they're more informative, and the listing become more informative. So features here, you list them bullet point ways. Um, if you have already some website for high-end properties, they have websites already, so you can put the link in here. There's a section here for videos, and you can post here a video from YouTube or Vimeo. Make sure you use the share link, not the long link. So it's important, because otherwise it's not going to work. But like you upload a video to YouTube, and you click the share button, you get a short link, and you put it in there, and that's going to be on the front of the video. And maybe I have here an example for that. Let me see. I'll just show you one with the video in front. It just makes the listing more interesting. So when you add a link in there, then it adds the video on top of these pictures on the listing. So somebody can just go in there and click on that. Anyways, I just wanted to show it to you. It's easy to do. You put the link in there, and now I lost where did I put this? Sorry, here, let me just go back. All right, so we're back here, listing marketing, and you can use it from here. You can click add new property if you don't want to go necessarily to the listing marketing section. I just wanted to show you the last fields here that are available. So I showed you the video and virtual tour. You can add as many videos as you want by putting a tab title here, and then putting the embed codes underneath, and those are going to stack on the same page. Here is the long description page. This here, the long description page, has a format there, so you can type in text. Make sure if you copy from an MLS sheet, it's not a good idea, again, because you don't want to have the same content as the MLS, because as I said at the beginning, that makes the video look like all those 10,000 other videos. I'm sorry, the listing, like those 10,000 other listings that everybody else has. So you want to create your original content here. But when you copy from the MLS, just copy text. Don't just copy paste, simply because the MLS sheets, they have these invisible control characters, and they can mess up this thing, and then you don't know what's happening. So just right click when you have something, and then paste. When you paste, just paste the text in there, not the formatted text. Here you can put neighborhood information. I showed you that at the beginning. That's important. You can keep it in a Microsoft Word and then copy paste it in here. If you want to add live chat, I recommend that you use Pure Chat, because we know that works. Some of these chat things have a conflict, but Pure Chat works, and I think it's free, or it's just a few dollars. And then your chat box is going to appear on the bottom of the listing, and people can click on it and chat it. I don't know if you want that, because most of the time I see that agents are offline anyways, so maybe it's better just to use email. This add more info section is important, because here you can add as many not as many, you can add extra information as much as you want in 3 extra pages. So each page has a title, like for example about Gabe, and I put in here my video. But you can, let's say you're in a gated complex, or you want to add a PDF or a floor layout or something, then you can add it here. Just put the title here. Make sure it's short, because it's otherwise going to be cut off. And then you put the code that links to that particular document which you host someplace in Bedly, or there's lots of hosting places, and you link to it, and then it appears on your listing. And then here's the configure section. Here you can take out, for example, the map-based search, which we add with that property search. You can replace it with your IDX if you want. You can show other listings on the bottom of each page. If you have blog entries, you can stream them into the listing. So there's various things here that you can do in order to control what's shown on the property website listing. And this MLS friendly virtual tour, this is not the virtual, this doesn't create the virtual tour. That link you get separately. This is a requirement for some MLSs that only accept text and no links. So you can add here this text, and then that is going to replace whatever goes into that virtual tour link, so that the MLS doesn't object, and you can add it there. And at the end, then you can save as draft or publish. If you publish, then we put it in the export files, and it goes out within 24 hours at most. Or if you want to save it as draft and not publish it, which is a good idea until you're finished with the listing. And then where you upload the pictures is, I'll show you that quickly. And we're already on top of the hour, but that's the last thing. So the pictures are, so once you created the listing, you will see it like this, and you go here to add content and click manage photos, and that puts you in the photo manager. And here you can upload the photos at once. You can change, rearrange you can click rearrange and rearrange them, or add photo captions. Photo captions are a good idea because people will know what they're looking at, but also if you do it right, then these are also indexed by Google. It doesn't help that terribly much, but over if you have 20-30 listings, then it adds extra content to the photos and to the listing. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it's 9 o'clock. Thank you for your attention. And this will be posted on YouTube. You can go and subscribe, as I showed you here in the chat box. If you want an email with the link, you can email me, support@realbird.com. And I appreciate your business, and hopefully you're going to sign back up. If you don't have a pro account, of course you can upgrade. You get 30 days full money back guarantee, and we give you support. You can call me and I'll help you, or you can send an email. Have a good day, and all our best wishes to those people afflicted by hurricanes and fires and everything that's going around these days. I feel blessed to be here in California, of course, until the next earthquake comes. Have a good day. Thank you.